शीतल देखो, देखो। आया? साउंड तो नहीं है ना? साउंड तो नहीं है ना? क्योंकि मैंने बंद किया हुआ है।
Right then. Good afternoon to distinguished guests, participants, team Anglo-Eastern, both from the shore as well as the sailing staff, seafarers, seafarers associations, CMMI, IMEI, the Mariners Society, and the various seafarers association connected to us today from across our country. Members of the Nautical Institute. I think we have Nautical Institute Belgium, we have UK, probably Singapore, Bangladesh, Hong Kong, and of course our India branches, and to also to my fellow members at the Nautical Institute Southwest branch. Thank you to all of you for having acknowledged our invitation to be part of this event, and welcome to all of you to this event number 8. As you know, as all of you would agree, how vital is ships to this world economy. I would say not just to the world economy, but also to mankind. And how significant are the roles of seafarers who operate those ships. In fact, they are the ones who carry the huge responsibility on their shoulder in keeping this world alive and kicking, not just during the pandemic, but even otherwise. Such is the significance of the ships and the seafarers. The Nautical Institute London, with its India Southwest branch, has been running this campaign in recognition and appreciation to those seafarers who help us keep this world alive and kicking. As you will all agree, logistically it would be difficult for the Nautical Institute to actually go about and appreciate all the seafarers because there are so many in number today. Though we would like to do that, but instead, in order for this appreciation to reach those seafarers, we are appreciating the organizations to which the seafarers are attached. And what is more fitting is that these organizations are actually also led by seafarers. So the Nautical Institute individuals who have taken that, who have gone that extra mile, especially during this the last few months. So today, the Nautical Institute India Southwest branch with and say thank you to your teachers. You know, we have two eras. We have post 2008 and pre 2008. So we are trying to bring on board all those institutions with the alumni of IMU and say thank you to your teachers. And I think all of you would agree that there is a teacher in every one of us, and you know that teaches us much more in life as well as with the experiences that we all go through. So thank you to all teachers. Please come on board the IMU alumni and say thank you to all those teachers who probably made you who you are today. You know, for the best part for best part for the Nautical Institute hosting this event for the last many weeks is that we are able to connect people across the globe. As I mentioned, we have so many countries connected today with us across different time zones, and also able to connect with different people from our country. You know, sometimes I would even say reconnect with people. There has also been a question that was asked that Anglo-Eastern should have been appreciated sometime before, because we have started this event in mid of July. I would say that we would have loved to have it like a convocation in a university to appreciate all of you together, but that is not possible. So it is not due any other reason. It's just that we just go by it, and all of you are equally taken the effort. Today is the turn of Anglo-Eastern. So there is nothing beyond that. As I mentioned, this event has been an event which has been connecting and reconnecting people. I'm happy that today I'm reconnecting with a good friend of mine who was also the founder secretary of the Nautical Institute Southwest branch when we started this branch in 2015. So I invite Captain Abhijit Balakrishnan, the founder secretary of the Southwest branch, to welcome the distinguished guests. Over to you, Abhijit.
Thank you, Vinod. I'll keep within the time. More than 5 years ago, Captain Menezes had come to Cochin, and he had a very small list of local members with him. And he formed a team with Captain J.K. Thomas, FNI at the helm. And very soon, we had the 82nd branch of the Nautical Institute, India Southwest. It's been 5 years hence to the month. That branch, the branch may have been the 82nd, but with the current leadership, it's probably the world's most active. Although I can't say this with certainty, but I'd like to believe this. And I President Captain Tom Joseph, Secretary Captain Vinod Novich, welcome. Our President, in her journey from Sydney, Nova Scotia to Sydney, Australia, Ms. Gillian has contributed immensely in areas as diverse as IALA, the vessel tracking, VTS, technology, maritime education and training, and much more. She now runs her own consultancy. If you've been part of these events we host, you would acknowledge that our president is a very dynamic leader. She was pivotal, I understand, in furthering the IMO's 2019 theme for empowering women in maritime. And at every opportunity she has had, we've had her speak with passion of women in maritime for their visibility. She has been passionate about inclusion and diversity across the industry. The American Salvage Association has their first female president since inception. At the Institute of Chartered Shipbrokers, we have our first woman chair in over 100 years. It's taken 50 years for our first woman president, but I'm confident that she will make sure that our next woman president comes in far less time. Good evening and welcome, Ms. Gillian Carson-Jackson, fellow of both the Royal Institute of Navigation and the Nautical Institute. Our president, welcome. Captain Trish, Captain Shivaraman Krishnamurthy, he's been popular among us as harder. He's been at sea for over 25 years, 7 of those in command of oil tankers. He stepped ashore to take over as the executive vice president of Sanmar Shipping, and now he's turned entrepreneur and founded Trimsail Digital Solutions, bringing to fruition his fascination with marine operations, business, and technology. He was the president of NI London, not just the president, but the youngest ever, and he was the first from outside Europe. During his time as president, there was tremendous work done on the online CPD and mentoring programs of the Institute. And it was during his time that the NI AGM was first held in South Asia. To us, he is an inspiration. Welcome, Captain Krish. Our president has always maintained that it's important to acknowledge the good news stories and take the opportunity to provide support to the Corona war shore. Who are keeping the ships and cargo moving and allowing us to maintain our lifestyles. The International Chamber of Shipping website says there are 1.647 million seafarers, and more than 28,000 of them are with Anglo-Eastern Ship Management. Anglo-Eastern Ship Management isn't a company that needs introduction. I will not even attempt to do that. They may not even need it, but we are obliged to acknowledge them for just the enormity of their contribution in keeping seafaring alive. Captain Neeraj Nanda, with over 23 years at sea, 11 of them ashore. Captain Nanda was instrumental in setting up the Cadet Academy of Anglo-Eastern that handled 2,000 trainees annually. Earlier, he had led the team that supervised the crewing operations for 75 bulk and geared vessels. Before that, he oversaw the fleet human resource, where he recruited 2,000 seafarer ranks annually. And now, Captain Nanda controls the third-party crew management business of the Anglo-Eastern Group and is responsible for enterprise development, strategy, performance, and global client management. Captain Neeraj Nanda, thank you for accepting our invite. Welcome to the event. Captain Vinay Singh, having joined Anglo-Eastern Ship Management in 1986, Captain Vinay Singh has been with Anglo-Eastern for over 3 decades. He's been ashore since 2002. And while he was the managing director of the fleet personnel offices in India, the strength of the Indian staff grew twofold and reached its present output, the most compassionate employer of Indian seafarers, and not just once, many times over. In 2019, Captain Singh moved to Anglo-Eastern's headquarters in Hong Kong and assumed the role of Group Managing Director, HR Sea Staff, leading the marine HR strategy and performance operations of over 850 vessels. With a passion for people and innovation, Captain Singh has been instrumental in developing world-class marine HR processes and bespoke AE Marine app, which helps keep all the sea staff at Anglo-Eastern closely connected with the office and each other. We also have with us today Captain Hirshid Barwe and Chief Engineer Himadri Bishwas, who have kindly agreed to share their stories with us. Thank you for accepting our invite, and thank you much more for agreeing to share your stories. Welcome, Captain Barwe. Welcome, Chief Engineer Bishwas. Ms. Naomi Rivari, she's a psychologist with over 25 years experience in the marine industry. An alumnus of Southampton University, she specializes in education and human resource development. She's a founding director of ARI, a simulation, digital technology, and technology-based education company. Naomi is on the board of trustees of education trusts and charitable foundations. She regularly contributes to the marine field, speaking at workshops, conferences, sharing her understanding of human factor, and is particularly interested in decision-making and safety. As a member of the Nautical Institute, she has contributed to the publication Human Performance and Limitations for Mariners. She has contributed to authoring the IMO model course, Train the Simulator Trainer. It'll be a pleasure to listen to you, Ms. Rivari. Thank you for accepting us and being here. Welcome. COVID derailed life as we knew it. One of the many concerns seafarers had after the pandemic established itself was about the trainings they needed to undergo, the examinations, the classes, the certification. Leaving no stone unturned, the training branch, Director General of Shipping, developed and sent out guidelines for conducting maritime courses using virtual classes, live video sessions, that guidelines for online exit exams, procedures on how to access e-learning. They relaxed the criteria. They published numerous circulars after 1st of April 2020 to enable the seamless transition. And all this under the able leadership of Deputy Director General Training, Mr. Ashish Wankhede. Mr. Ashish Wankhede has been with the Directorate General of Shipping for over 8 years, with a master's from World Maritime University, a premier engineering college, the NIT Calicut, our hometown. Welcome, sir. Thank you for accepting our invite to grace this occasion. Anglo-Eastern undoubtedly has the largest crewing operations in India, with over 26 years of experience, 16 of them ashore. Who better to head these operations than Mr. Pradhan? Mr. Maneesh Pradhan has been with Anglo-Eastern since 1994. He set up the Kolkata crewing office in 2002 and then moved to Mumbai in 2011 as general manager. With a philosophy of right people on the right ship at the right time, it's no surprise that Mr. Pradhan has been able to lead his team to achieve such astounding feats that keep seafaring alive. Working with people is a passion for him, which is evident from his leadership of Anavi, an NGO spread across 7 cities, including Kochi. Thank you for accepting our invite, Mr. Pradhan. Welcome to the event. I would like to make a special a friend and a fleet vessel manager, Anglo-Eastern Management Cochin. Welcome, Anup, and thank you for all that you do. I also would like to acknowledge and welcome everyone attending this event. Thank you all for your time. Captain Vinod.
Yes, thank you, Captain Abhijit. You did the most difficult job of introducing such eminent personalities in such a short time. I would also extend a welcome to the media. We have Maritz, we have CN Job, CN Post, Bhandarkar Publications, Sagar Sandesh, and of course Sailor Today, who's live streaming this on YouTube and various other media. I can also see our counterpart in Sri Lanka, Captain Nish. Welcome, Captain Nish. Captain Mr. Sanjeev Vakil. And I can also see Mrs. Saleha Sheikh, who is the MUI Women's Wing. Welcome to all of you. And let me also extend a welcome to all those people who are working behind the curtains ashore for the seafarers. You know, there's a large number of such people working in Anglo-Eastern. And my welcome to my counterparts at IMU also, from various campuses. Right, as you, the Nautical Institute today has probably over 70 branches across the globe. with over 7,000 members, fast going towards the cities right around the year, to introduce the Nautical Institute and its branches and membership. I would invite our next speaker. But before I do that, I should tell you, to host this kind of a global event, connecting people from so many countries and so many states in our countries is not an easy task. It requires support, and the Nautical Institute Southwest branch has been so fortunate that we have got the support right from top, from our president of the Nautical Institute, London, sitting in Canberra, Australia. I would say all kinds of support, whether it is IT support, we can call her back office, front office. She's been all in one right throughout with us, supporting us, the Nautical Institute Southwest branch, from the very first event. So to talk to you more about the Nautical Institute, I invite Ms. Gillian Carson-Jackson, President, Nautical Institute, London, joining us from Canberra, Australia. Over to you, Ms. Gillian.
Thank you very much, Vinod. And it is a pleasure every time to be part of these events. This one has a special place in my heart, actually, for the past few years, with a focus on train the simulation trainer. As you may know, a number of years ago, I published a book called The Simulation Instructor's Handbook. And then based on that, with Global Met, and I am pleased to see that Richard Towers joined us from Global Met. And as you know, Pradeep Chawla is taking on Global Met, the directorship, and has a very strong vision for the future of where that Global Met will be going. My role here, though, is to tell you a little bit about the Nautical Institute. And I don't want to get into too much detail because I know that we also will hear from Captain Krish, and he's got such a history. I had the honor to receive my fellowship, actually, at the AGM in Sri Lanka from Krish. So that was wonderful. I would like to tell you a little bit about the Nautical Institute. In case you don't know, the Nautical Institute is a members organization for maritime professionals. It is reaching its 50-year anniversary, as was mentioned, with over 7,000 members on a global reach. And the goal, the strength really within the Nautical Institute is the branch network. So all of our members have this family, this professional family they can work with within the branch. And it's an international family. So when you go anywhere in the world, you meet up with other members of the Nautical Institute. We have this opportunity to work local and think global, and we have a global reach. Through that global reach, the Nautical Institute is the voice of the seafarer at the International Maritime Organization and has been very active at the IMO. And we also have strong representation at IALA. I actually chair 2 working groups at IALA, a VTS Training and Personnel Working Group, and in the e-navigation committee looking to the future of the digital communication technologies. So the Nautical Institute has its fingers spread very far and wide with a lot of influence, but it's the members, it is a membership organization. And we support our members through many different ways. Adapting, of course, to these times during COVID. One of the focuses the NI's always had are these short courses, and we've been able to pivot those short courses to deliver them online. Seeing the value of webinars, we've been able to present a number of webinars. And we also have, as members, you have access to training through VideoTel and the new ones through MicroLearn. And it's amazing to have this at your fingertips. I just can't believe that. During these difficult times, and we have very difficult times, the last few days have been very hard for all seafarers to see the videos, to see the concern that is happening at sea, our fellow seafarers. And it's very difficult to see that. But what is really important that we do is we note that seafarers are still continuing to work hard through very bad weather, through very difficult circumstances. We need to support those good news stories. It is so important. It's more important than ever to celebrate good news. And Walter Vavlosum, the Vice President of the Nautical Institute, has joined us from Belgium today. Welcome, Walter. Had a vision on how we might celebrate that. And that was the team have taken this under their wing and made it into so much so that we can have this opportunity to reach. And I keep seeing the numbers of participants growing. We're up up over 153 on this event today, and they're still arriving. So it's wonderful to have this reach very much. And I look forward to hearing from all of the other speakers.
Thank you, Gillian, for introducing the Nautical Institute to the audience. I would also once again thank you for all the support that you've given the Nautical Institute you've been doing over the last many weeks. Thank you so much. I think a lot of people have a wrong perception about the Nautical Institute. When they hear the word institute, they think, the Nautical Institute is a training institute. Yes, the Nautical Institute does training right around the year, but we are not a training institute. As Ms. Gillian mentioned, we are a professional body of maritime professionals from different walks of the maritime industry. To speak about the Nautical Institute and the activities that the Nautical Institutes do right around the year, I have the next speaker with us. But let me tell you, as I mentioned, this is an event of connection and reconnection. We are happy to reconnect with Captain Krishnamurthy. And I'm so proud to invite Captain Shivaraman Krishnamurthy, who was the past president of the Nautical Institute, London. I invite Captain Krishnamurthy to talk to us about the activities that the Nautical Institute do right around the year. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Captain Vinod. Lovely to see all of you. Madam President Gillian Jackson, Captain Tom Joseph, India Southwest Branch Chair at NI, Captain Vinay Singh, Captain Neeraj Nanda, Mr. Mandeep Pradhan, and Mr. Vashish Ankade from the Indian flag, and my dear friends, Captain Alapat, Naomi, Revari, J.K. Thomas, and the list goes on, JP, and my colleagues from the industry. Greetings and namaste to all of you. So, Captain Vinod Naveen asked me to speak a little bit about the Institute, its activities, and what it stands for. You really needn't look far. The presidency of this international body alone reflects its inclusivity, its global outlook, and the diversified expertise it brings to the table within the maritime domain, of course. So if I was the first president from outside Europe, Gillian has broken yet another glass ceiling as the first lady president and moving the compass further east. And if that's not enough, let me tell you that at the 2010 AGM, we opened up membership to all professionals connected with the maritime domain, naval architects, marine engineers, and any professional who could contribute to the Institute's objectives. We are quite proud here at Chennai. It's been 50 years of the Institute's legacy. There's been a lot of progression. We are constantly learning, listening, and evolving. That, in short, is NI for you. Yeah, Captain Vinod mentioned this is not an academic institute. We really do not conduct as many training courses as the other institutes do. We are not a bunch of teachers and professors. We are an association of practicing professional mariners, both afloat and ashore. And of course, as was mentioned before, we represent a varied expertise and best industry practices across the world, with the intention of helping to operate and control ships in a safe, efficient, and environmentally sustainable manner. So you will see this reflected in our marquee publications you would have heard of, bulk carrier practices, bridge team management, mariner's role in collecting evidence, mentoring at sea, EGDIS, ice navigation, DP operators handbook, and of course the ubiquitous marine accident reporting scheme. So all these are NI products, and these are books for the practicing mariner, not just research papers. Um, our globally acclaimed conferences, seminars, branch seminars, webinars, and the projects that we undertake from time to time are quite contemporary and highly relevant. So we at the Institute, we do preserve time-tested practices and traditions, but also explore cutting-edge technology to apply our practice. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, please go ahead.
All right. So we apply this, explore the cutting edge technology to apply to our practice in a sensible and logical manner. And our catalytic role in e-navigation strategy, our interventions at IMO, our navigational auditor training scheme, our DP accreditation scheme, these are all standards in professional excellence. Before, one of the things I'm proud about the Institute is our long-standing tradition to recognize, to affiliate, to accredit, and to appreciate. I mean, this is because, you know, for an industry suffered more than its share of discourage in a while, and seek out and shine the spotlight on and applaud those pockets of excellence, as it was said, the extra mile efforts put in both by individuals and organizations to make our seas safer, cleaner, and most importantly, happier. So indeed, today's meeting is yet another way that we applaud and say thank you to the people and companies that have gone that extra mile to show that they care about seafarers. I have personally not had the privilege of serving Anglo-Eastern, but I've been part of Univan, which is now a part of Anglo-Eastern. So I know that the best values of both these iconic management companies will add up to much more than the sum of its parts. And lastly, I'd like to touch upon the membership to the Institute. The President rightly said, we are a member-driven organization. You know, everything that you have produced of value has come from members, whether they are publications or projects. You know, it's come from the passion that the members bring to the table. And considering that this is essentially a gathering of crewing and training leadership, I think it's a good time to pause and reflect on the magic that professional membership does to the psychology of a seafarer. We know that the transport industry is very exacting and has zero tolerance of errors. I personally sat through many corporate strategic powwows, especially aftermath of some sticky situations, to see what a shipping manager could do or could have done to motivate the seafarers to perform consistently and responsibly. And as an industry, we have spent millions of training dollars, but it still leaves a little nagging doubt in our minds. Are the boys and girls at sea happy with the job they're entrusted with? Do they still see the big picture? And from my experience, I have seen a sharp attitudinal difference between those who are members of a professional body and those who are not. You know, membership, I think, gives a strange feeling of control, personal empowerment, empathy, and a sense of belonging to a greater cause. In short, I think it addresses a higher need in Maslow's hierarchy, if you like. And dare I say, that in turn builds the much needed resilience within the human element. I mean, I don't profess to know how this happens, and that is something perhaps Naomi may be more qualified to comment upon. But I will leave this thought with the think tank at Anglo-Eastern, you know, Captain Vinay Singh, Captain Nanda, Mr. Pradhan, and many of you thought leaders within the industry to ponder upon the value that membership of NI can bring to your respective organizations. So with that introduction about the NI, let me thank you all for your time, and thank you, Captain Joseph, Captain Tom Joseph, for the honor You have a wonderful team at India Southwest branch, and my best wishes to you and to everyone at this August webinar. Yeah.
Thank you, Captain Krishnamurthy. I think you made the audience aware about the contributions of the Nautical Institute, especially with the growth of maritime professionals. You also mentioned about how diverse we are with in the Nautical Institute. We can also see our president is a woman president from Australia. We have Mr. Sanjeev Vakil, an engineer who's part of the Nautical Institute. So, as you rightly said, we welcome anybody who's attached with the maritime industry. Let me make Gillian. I think let me make Gillian happy. I think I saw Captain Pradeep Chawla joining us. So welcome, Captain Pradeep Chawla. I could also see Sri Michael Pinto, former Secretary Shipping, Government of India, and former DG Shipping. Welcome to you, sir. Captain Mahesh Yadav, and members of FOSMA, MASA, and since I mentioned about alumni, members of Brescia. Welcome to all of you. I could also see Mr. Duncan McElvey joining us from our UK branch. So welcome to all of you to this event of the Nautical Institute appreciating Anglo-Eastern ship management. And as I mentioned, we are connected globally. You are muted. Our president has muted you, but you're free to put in your views on the chat. That's open. I request you can put your name and the organization that you are attached with, so that we know that you are here. Please feel free to use the chat box. As Captain Abhijit mentioned, Anglo-Eastern requires no introduction. I mean, with global footprints, with offices in most of the countries across the globe, with offices across our country, and with 20,000 odd Indian seafarers. I mean, Anglo-Eastern has given employment to so many seafarers. I would say one of the largest employment of seafarers have come through Anglo-Eastern. So it requires no introduction, whether it is local or national or global. Everybody knows about Anglo-Eastern. That's how strong an organization has been. But still, it would be nice to hear it from themselves. So I invite our next speaker, Captain Neeraj Nanda, Director Crew, who's joining us from AESM Hong Kong, to introduce to the audience the Anglo-Eastern. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Captain Vinod. Just to check, I'm audible?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Gillian, all the captains and members of the Nautical Institute, the organizers of this event. Thank you for inviting me to give an introduction to Anglo-Eastern. You're repeatedly saying that the group needs no introduction makes my job indeed more difficult and humbling. So I will make an earnest attempt to give you a short insight into Anglo-Eastern and its activities. I will be sharing a short presentation. Just give me a second, yeah. And I will ensure that I keep the time. I have time myself. This should not be over 5 minutes. Are you able to see the presentation, sir? Captain Vinod? Okay.
Yes, you can see.
Yes, I can. Please go ahead.
All right. It's indeed an honor for me to take the part of the introduction of Anglo-Eastern. Having been with the group right from my nascency, it's been 23 years in this journey now, and I have personally seen the company grow from one milestone to the other. Anglo-Eastern indeed is a truly global company. We have our headquarters in Hong Kong and ship management centers across Asia, Europe, Canada. We also have technical marine support centers in the USA, Brazil, Australia, Russia. So we indeed have a footprint which is, commensurate to our size, being the largest ship manager across the world. We presently manage over 850 ships, out of which 640 plus ships are purely technical management, and the remaining are under crew management, which I represent. Our crewing network is second to none. We have 16 crewing offices across Asia, Europe, and UK. India has been our biggest hub. We were one of the early movers in India and have invested quite a bit into our facilities and training centers in India. Apart from that, the second closest would be the Philippines, and then followed by Ukraine, China, Latvia, and UK. This is where we have most of our crew from. Our people, of course, are our biggest strength and the most important driver of our success. There's something that we believe in, that if you take care of your employees, they will take care of your business. And that's the ethos Anglo-Eastern has carried since the days I was sailing with them, and that continues till date. We presently employ over 28,000 active seafarers. And as you can see, the biggest chunk is from India. It's about 69%, which is over 20,000 people from India alone. Our people behind the scenes, like mentioned, who support the activities at sea, are the people working ashore in our global centers, ship management as well as crew management. Our shore strength is close to 1,800 people working behind the curtains around the clock to keep the ships moving. Anglo-Eastern is a company which is known for its training, and to live up to our client expectations, we have training centers which are state-of-the-art across India, Philippines, and Ukraine. In India, in fact, we have two training centers, which Gillian mentioned. She's probably been to both of them. One is in Mumbai, one is in Delhi. Through these training centers, we offer more than 50 value-added courses, which are specific to trade, clients, rank. So we are a company who is known to offer bespoke training to meet the customer as well as the requirements of the trade. In 2019, we trained over 38,000 seafarers, and that is testimony of our commitment to training. We are known as the company with the maximum number of simulators, and we are quite proud about it. In line with our commitment for training, we started our pre-sea training academy in India in 2009. This is one of my first projects when I came ashore and very dear to my heart. Today, the academy has an annual capacity of 440 cadets, deck, engine, and electrical. We are proud to say that 3,500 of our officers serving with us today have graduated through this academy as our cadets. And the highest ranks that they attain within the company today as a chief officer and a second engineer, we already have people who've cleared their masters and chiefs, and we're waiting for them to come and take command of our ships. Anglo-Eastern has a very high value system, and to sum it up, I will just read out our core values. We lead with integrity, we set the standard, and we call ourselves seafarers with passion. I think that is self-explanatory of what our core beliefs are. In line with our commitment to the crew and to keep an effective communication, we were the pioneers to develop an app which is used widely across all our seafarers in the company to connect with themselves as well as with the officers. And this is the brainchild of Captain Vinay Singh, as pointed out by Captain Abhijit during the introduction. The app is highly successful, and we work continuously to develop its features to make it more user-friendly and effective. Also, to create new initiatives to enhance employee satisfaction, we formed the asset team, which is the Anglo-Eastern Staff Satisfaction and Engagement Team. This is a dedicated team which communicates with the people on board, the families ashore when the seafarers are on board, as well as the crew on leave. And their key activities are to promote healthcare, build relationships, connect with the families. We have a dedicated wives association where the wives come together and, as a family to connect with the larger Anglo-Eastern community. And Anavi, which is the brainchild of Mr. Maneesh Pradhan, from where we attempt to give back to society through a humble NGO. Anglo-Eastern is also known as one of the most decorated company. In India, we have been topping the charts in terms of awards and industry recognition for over 2 decades now. We have been awarded the most coveted Best Foreign Employer of Indian Seafarers by the Honorable Director General of Shipping for 14 times. We have been awarded the Most Compassionate Employer of Indian Seafarers 5 times. We have received the Sailor Today Seashore Award for maximum jobs for our Indian seafarers 15 times, and so on and so forth. I would not like to read out each and every award, but this recognition is very, very, we are touched upon how the industry has been recognizing our efforts, and we are very thankful, and we look forward to continue to serve the global community and Indian seafarers from all we can. Thank you very much with this, and I hope I have made an honest effort to give you a short introduction to Anglo-Eastern. Thank you, Captain Vinod, for the opportunity.
Thank you, Captain Neeraj. Thank you for that wonderful introduction to Anglo-Eastern. I'm sure you made the seafarers with you already proud. You know, one of those initiatives that you mentioned about asset is shows your commitment towards seafarers fair. And I'm sure those who are listening, those seafarers who are listening to you today would probably be inclined to join the Anglo-Eastern team. So thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Captain Vinod. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, as you just heard Captain Neeraj speaking, you know, how at what level today Anglo-Eastern is. But I'm sure when they started, they had a humble beginning, probably a few ships. Today they are managing 500 plus ships, a few seafarers. And today they have over 22,000 seafarers from just India. And so many footprints across the globe. As you saw, the many offices spread across the globe with over close to 2,000 people working ashore and over 500 people working just in India for the seafarers. So when an organization reaches this level, I'm sure you would agree that it requires people with leadership qualities to take it from that level, from a humble beginning to this level. Today we have one gentleman with us who has been part of that journey in taking Anglo-Eastern from that level to this level that we are, the Anglo-Eastern. He requires no introduction, as like Anglo-Eastern. He is very well known in the industry. Those who are attached with the Indian shipping industry knows him very well. We have all heard him at so many seminars. I myself have attended so many seminars and conferences, and it is always so lovely to hear Captain Vinay Singh speak. I would say, sir, when you left for Hong Kong, I would say it's a loss to the Indian shipping industry, whereas it is a gain to the Hong Kong shipping industry. But on a lighter note, when the industry came to know that you left India, probably some people thought that you have gone to Hollywood because you look like a Hollywood star. You need to tell us about that. Over to you, Captain Vinay Singh, Group MD, Managing Director, HR, C staff, joining us from Hong Kong. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Jos. Thank you, Vinod. You can hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for the introduction. And it was really a pleasure working in India. I really enjoyed my nearly 20 years, what I served through India and developed that. And it's a really a proud achievement for me. Like you pointed out, I joined Anglo-Eastern when we had 10 ships, and today when we work with nearly, I think, 870 ships, it really gives us pleasure to see the growth. The key aspect, my topic is, of course, activities of Anglo-Eastern. And I find that our key aspect has remained unchanged over the period of 34, 35 years, what I have seen Anglo-Eastern grow. Even in 1986, when I had joined, the feelings were same, that it's a safe company, it's a good company, it will take care of people, it will not ask you to do anything illegal, and that's remains till today. And today we put ourselves into three categories. Neeraj has introduced what we do as a company, but the philosophy behind that is that we take care of people, we take care of ships, and we take care of the seas. You know? So all the three things we are good at. Once rather, our chairman, Peter Kremers, was asked in a seminar that why did you come to India and why you have so many people from India? And his answer was that when he left Belgium in '86, he came to Hong Kong, saying for them, a seagoing profession in Belgium was more like to go and work on ships and come back home to lead a real life. Whereas when he came across to seafarers from India, when he came to Hong Kong, when he met the people, he realized that seafaring is the life. You know? People actually lead life at sea. People make friends there. People have normal life. And that's what my friends, what I made at that time, 30 years back, still exist. You know? And it's good to see that the company continues to grow on the strength of Indian seafarers. You know? So, Neeraj, will you upload the presentation if possible?
Yes, I will share my screen now, and you will have your presentation there.
So like I said, our key point remains from the beginning. Can you make it full screen, Neeraj?
Yes.
So our key point remains the care of people. I mean, that's the philosophy on which a company has been there, and that's a philosophy on which it has grown. And this thing was care of people was put on test during this pandemic. And that's why I would focus only on to make it what we did during the pandemic. So the first thing we did, it's next screen. So first thing what we did was that we paid attention to that what kind of the moment we were in Hong Kong, we were realizing what is going on in China. First thing we realized that, okay, we need to start putting extra measures on board. So we initiated few extra measures. We increased the internet bandwidth on board. We set up a helpline, dedicated helpline for COVID. We started contacting the families because we had to prepare them that people will get delayed now. We were, like Neeraj told about the staff engagement program, ASSET, which we use. The main idea of the ASSET was that treat people on board just the way people will be treated ashore. So like we have staff engagement programs for our staff ashore, same way we introduce them to ships that, okay, let's have the thing. And the engagement programs which keep people occupied. We had introduced an online medical checkup system for the ships. It's become very popular. Now, I think more than 200 ships are already having a remote doctor on all the ships all the time, which is far in-depth service than CIRM, what we have been used to. So now even if you cough, you can contact a proper doctor and get in touch. You know, we of course extended few extra benefits to the sea staff. You know, for the compensations, delayed relief. It was already part of our terms. Actually, always we were paying. You know, we told them to prepare them. We had dedicated guidelines to make them feel safer. So these are the things what we did at the beginning of the pandemic. The next thing, what was our key point was what we realized that if we want to build trust of the people, then we need to keep our commitment. When people go on ships, then they need to have a time when they come back, you know. And everybody has made commitments at home, and that's why our focus was to arrange relief. So we followed it in two ways. First is we continued to carry out crew change till the last moment, you know, till everything in India basically shut down on 23rd of March. We continued to do the crew change so that we relieve maximum people before everything gets shut down. And then we were the first company to resume the crew change the moment there was slight ease of business in India and abroad. We opened the crew change. Actually, at Europe, we never stopped it. We continued throughout the pandemic. It never stopped the crew change because Europe allowed the people to travel, European seafarers within Europe. But because main seafaring centers are India and Manila, so from there, the crew change was stopped. And but 23rd of May, we opened it, and we were one of the first to start. And as of, I think yesterday, we had done 19,000 crew changes. So like you said, 28,000 people we have, you as you aware, we have on board. And we did so much crew change within these 2 months. Actually, our teams are sure maybe did 3 months job in a month, in doing. So we touched more than 850 ships during this 2 months in arranging the crew change. Our biggest challenge in all this was India, which is, like pointed out, under able leadership of Maneesh Pradhan. They worked in really, really difficult circumstances. We had only 10% of the staff allowed in the office. We had practically no commercial flights. We had to use nearly more than 200 chartered flights. And we had to make all use, like in shipping terms, we say, use all available means to carry out the crew changes. I mean, we have thought of hiring passenger ships, small ferries to carry the people. We have used chartered flights all over the world. We have carried people on other ships to carry out the relief. We did everything to make sure that people get home. And our teams actually in India work till late at night. I mean, Maneesh used to keep updating me. People are working till 2 o'clock just to make it happen. And so we had a very, very tough time. Most of it is over now, but team worked really hard to make sure that people come home in time. And so we had close to 13,000 people. What we relieved, I mean, what the crew changes happened from India itself, being 70% of our strength, it matches up to the 70% of the volume. And these crew changes, ships remained safe during the crew change. All the testings were done correctly. Protocols were followed. Very difficult protocol, but all thing was arranged. And most important, I would say, our staff. I mean, it was the Indian seafarers which came out shining in all this thing. I mean, people were aware their efforts are being made. People kept their patience, continued performing an excellent job. Actually, we had, I think, our incidents came down. There were accidents came. Everything on the ships were quietly running. During all this mess, when all around the world there was a shutdown, this business and this company we could see were continued working smoothly. And the people who had gone for sometimes for 4 months ended up doing maybe 6 months, 8 months, but they kept their patience, and continued to deliver an excellent job. I mean, we have some of our key people here they will tell you about horrendous time they went through and but still how they managed. It's able leadership on board, which actually got the kind of ball rolling. Like they say, when the tough going gets tough, the tough gets going. That's the people what we have. And that's what we are thankful for, that we have had such great people working for us who really take their job seriously of keeping the world moving. And they proved it this time. I would like to thank all of them for that. And I'd especially like to thank Nautical Institute for appreciating the effort made by our team. And Captain Krishnamurthy, your point is taken. We will ensure that we have more membership coming up. We will go with the agenda. We will make sure more people are aware of Nautical Institute, and we will have more members coming to you from Anglo-Eastern. And thanks a lot, everyone, for doing this.
Thank you, Captain Vinay Singh. And it is so heartening to see again that you have still on priority care for people and the initiatives that you had taken for the seafarers sailing with Anglo-Eastern. But I would just extend that I've always been keeping the seafarers and their welfare on the top priority. And it was also nice to hear it was just not the action, but the thought of you Anglo-Eastern thinking of not just chartered flights but also ferries and such different boards where they can help out with the cost of sign on and sign off of seafarers. So that's so wonderful to hear you once again, sir. As I said, we miss you in India. And before I let you go, you need to tell the audience, they are waiting to hear which Hollywood hero do you resemble.
Well, thank you very much. I don't think I resemble any Hollywood hero, but okay, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Nice to hear from you, So I'll sleep well today, maybe have another drink. Thanks a lot.
On a personal note, I would say Pierce Brosnan. So, right, so thank you, sir. Talking about heroes, we have the real heroes of today's event. As I mentioned at the beginning, the contribution of seafarers and shouldering the responsibilities of the world trade on their shoulder is no mean job. That's how tough life has been for seafarers, and especially during the pandemic with extended contracts, it has made it more tougher. So we have two heroes of the event who's going to talk us through their experiences. Number one, I would invite Captain Harshit Barve, who has recently signed off from one of the Anglo-Eastern ships, to probably share his experience with how things were on board the ship, especially during the last 4 months of pandemic. Over to you, Captain Harshit.
Hi, just want to check my audio is running.
Yes, please go ahead, sir.
Okay, so good day, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Captain Rishit Barve. I am an active duty sailor with Anglo-Eastern Ship Management. I sail on LPG tankers and have over 10 years in command on these ships, all with Anglo-Eastern. And I've been serving in Anglo-Eastern for almost 19 years now. I'm just going to touch lightly. My crew and I actually experienced the direct impact of COVID because we were on board from the time that the outbreak started in China to the point where everyone was overdue and where we were specially diverted with massive effort by Anglo-Eastern to Cochin and becoming one of the first crews of Anglo-Eastern to be signed off in India by diverting a vessel, and definitely one of the biggest crew changes that they executed. Now, while on board, time is very limited, so I'm going to keep this very brief. The impact of COVID-19 on the crew was very immediate and very visible. Okay. There was a lot of fear, there was uncertainty, there was nervousness, there was, I wouldn't say panic, but it could set in occasionally on people as to whether they would be exposed, whether they would contract the disease, and whether their families were safe. Now, this, when you have a large group of people who are due, tends to gallop and spread very quickly. So it's very incumbent on the management and the people at the top on the ship to try and control it. And one of the ways we did this was by being absolutely open and honest and providing them with the maximum information available, for which I have to thank Anglo-Eastern. I think they were very proactive. We got updates on the COVID situation while it was still restricted in Wuhan. And this allowed me to keep my crew updated, up to date as to what is the situation and therefore what are the likely difficulties we're supposed to face. Which comes to, of course, the immediate problem that we faced, which was the impact of crew changes. And I must commend my guys, they took it in their stride initially. And but as the situation got more and more uncertain, it definitely affected our people mentally, performance, and a lot of those things, because some of them have never been out at sea at that long. And so it was very difficult for them. Yet at the same time, I must commend them. I have to thank them. They're not here, and I've done so on the ship, that they did stick to their jobs and did it to the best of their ability in really tough times. Now, we have to understand a few things about what goes on the ship. You have called us heroes, and thank you, but I don't think we're really deserving of such platitudes. Yes, we are doing a job, we are doing it to the best of our abilities. And what we needed was for the maritime industry, the nations, the port nations, and the authorities to do theirs as well. People were called warriors and heroes, etc. But when I spoke to my crew about that, they clearly told me no uncertain terms. They don't want to be warriors. They don't want to be heroes. They're just simple folk doing a job, doing it well, and they only want one thing, which is to get home by their allotted time. Now, as the situation progressed from having 11 people who were supposed to go home on the 22nd of March, one day before India shut down, and therefore it got cancelled, which was a bit setback to the rest of my crew, to having 17 people out of 22 due to go home. This becomes quite a difficult situation on the vessel to manage. Uh, you know, Tempers are flaring, emotions are running high. And when I saw this happening, I got some very good feedback from my other parts of the management team, and I red flagged this to Anglo-Eastern. I sent the office a message saying, look, we have a large number of people here, and we are managing, but it is going to get worse. It's going to get harder for everyone, and not everyone will be able to react in the same way. Right now, they're being very resilient, but we need to do something about this. And all credit to them. They got my email and immediately understood what it meant and started working really hard on it. And yes, there were bumps and hiccups along the way. It required luck. It required the ship to have a voice that went in the right direction, which we thankfully got. And it also required, for which I have to thank, a lot of help from the authorities, and the DG Shipping put in, I think, a huge amount of work to make it possible to execute crew changes in India. Anglo-Eastern worked very closely with them. And with all that, we were able to divert to Cochin a fully loaded LPG tanker uh, and conduct a crew change of 17 people out of 22. There was not a single old hand from the deck side. And for a company to have the gumption to do that is highly commendable. We work very hard at our end. And also to have the faith in their crew to do that, that yes, we would. And I really do appreciate the kind of effort that the shore side has put in to make this crew change possible for my crew. I think, and I did tell them that had we missed that window, I could not definitely guarantee what some people may have reacted like going further down. And this is something that, since we have a lot of people from the industry here, the industry stakeholders, I would like to bring up to them that the impact of performance on delayed sign off due to the COVID, on safe working, on morale, on mental health cannot be understated. It is imperative to have this attended to have crew change corridors if you want to have safe, efficient running ships. Ports cannot just have the ships and not have their seafarers. And we need to work with bodies to have better, smoother immigration and transit facilities for seafarers. Even prior COVID, we are treated as unwanted, as possible illegal aliens, as potential criminals, put in a room for many hours. And this needs to start changing, and the industry needs to do something about it. We need a smooth crew change process similar to what the airline crew have. The airline crew have far more exposure than us. We have minimal exposure, especially when we come in from a ship. And all these things need to be taken into account. And I would urge the industry to work on that, because I know what it is like to have a crew that is well overdue. And I am the first one to admit, as a master, I was starting to get worried about my own performance in critical situations. Would I be sharp enough? Would I react quick enough? So it is very important to have this and have it running smoothly. COVID is here to stay with us. We know that it's not going anywhere away anytime soon. So we need to work on this. And that said, I will not take up any more of your time, but I will again once thank the entire office because I know communicating with them how seriously they took up my situation, how hard they worked. And definitely by the end of the day, the crew, they believed what I was telling them from the office. And that is very critical because I can say anything to them, but you have to have credibility. And I would like to thank everyone at Anglo-Eastern for being able to give me that credibility to pass on to the crew. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain Arshit Barve, for sharing the first-hand information about the situations on board. And yes, we do understand it's been a really tough time, and I'm sure you put up your points. I could see Captain Neeraj and Captain Vinay Singh has taken note of what you have spoken. It's been tough time. We wish you a very happy vacation now that you're home. I'm also happy to note that the close association that you have with Anglo-Eastern. You mentioned you have been there for last 18 years with Anglo-Eastern. That shows again the commitment of the organization that you're working with. And since you mentioned Cochin, I should say that we are fortunate that the man who made it possible in Cochin is right here with us. I'm sure is listening to us, Captain Joseph Alapart, who is the Deputy Conservator of Cochin Fortress. He's also the Vice Chairman of the Nautical Institute Southwest Branch. He's here with us on the event. So it was nice of you to let us know. And I also thank Captain Alapart once again on this event for the efforts that he has taken to make Cochin Port a sign off for the seafarers. Yes, we cannot forget the efforts taken by the shore office. Captain Vinay Singh also mentioned about it. The 1,800 odd people working ashore, and the last 4 months has been tough times for them also. You know, some of them probably going over sleepless nights, something which they are not really tuned to. So it has been appreciable of the efforts that the shore team has also taken towards the cause of seafarers. So I thank on behalf of the Nautical Institute, all those people who are working behind the curtains to help the cause of seafarers sign on, sign off. Our next speaker is Chief Engineer Himadri Beswas. I would request you to add on with your experience, and you have also recently signed off from one of the Anglo-Eastern ships to share us, so that there are a lot of seafarers tuned into this event. You know, not only on Zoom, we have probably 500 odd people on YouTube. Normally, 1,000 plus people view this live. So there are a lot of seafarers waiting to hear about such experiences, first-hand experiences that you people share. Over to you, Mr. Himadri Biswas.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Heartiest greetings, ladies and gentlemen, honorable guests, and my beloved seafaring colleagues. It gives me an immense pleasure to share my experiences here at this esteemed web platform of the Nautical Institute. COVID-19 had posed a significant health challenge in the maritime industry and required close cooperation between the flags, shipping companies, port states, and other maritime service providers to protect the health of seafarers and limit the viral transmission. As the fear of this pandemic became a reality, an apprehensive feeling prevailed on board regarding our health and also of our family members back home. A constant fear of how they were coping up with the perils of this corona crisis. But at the end of the day, we were reassured that we are in safe hands of Anglo-Eastern. Our company was calling our families regularly about their general welfare and offering them help whenever required. It has always lived up to its reputation of being the most compassionate employer. We started getting a feel of the new normal during our visits to ports, where physical presence of the relevant authorities was reduced to a bare minimum. Maximum use of the electronic medium was the order of the day to bring in social distancing. On the onset of this global concern, we seafarers realized that we have become more safety conscious. We knew that in case of any near miss incidents or accidents, it would be very difficult to get assistance from the shore. But we worked very safely. New SOPs found their way into our system, and we started getting into the act of doing things differently. Contactless became the most pronounced word in our existence. All this while, company support was fantastic. Be it sending regular updates regarding the worldwide situation, to providing COVID guidelines and procedures, which we followed like a Bible on board. We were very safe on board. Company had assisted us in every way. A period of lull had set in during the lockdowns worldwide, but we seafarers were the safest from the rest of the world. We were isolated, nostalgic, with a yearn and agony of missing our near and dear ones back home. Many of us had completed their contract and serving extended periods. We extend our sincere thanks to the top management for providing free internet service on board so that we could stay better connected to our families during this time of crisis. So much of uncertainty and turmoil all around, the only stable factor was the belief that Anglo-Eastern would proactively get into the process of arranging reliefs for seafarers on board. True to their reputation, the crew change was done with utmost priority. The figures speak for themselves. Lockdowns, unavailability of flights, nothing could deter Anglo-Eastern from going ahead with crew changes. The shore staff had worked relentlessly 24/7 to ensure that crew changes happened without any glitches. Ships were even diverted from their original routes to carry out crew change. Chartered flights were also arranged by the company to bring us back home. We extend our sincere gratitude to Anglo-Eastern for the safe repatriation of the seafarers and providing them the best quarantine facilities. The entire crew change process was done very professionally through absolute transparent communication, which has always been the axiom of this organization. It was not an easy task, with different ports having different regulations to comply with. But Anglo-Eastern came up with trumps, as it has done in numerous previous occasions. Kudos to Anglo-Eastern. Being indebted is indeed the least that we can feel for Anglo-Eastern. I'm extremely proud to be an Angloite, where being compassionate, bonds are strong. My family joins me in extending a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart to Anglo-Eastern. The world must move on. The propellers must rotate. We vow to work efficiently and safely in this new normal and contribute our best. Thank you so much. Thank you, Nautical Institute.
Thank you, Mr. Biswas, again to sharing your experience, which once again stressed upon what we've been hearing right from beginning, the commitment of Anglo-Eastern, the care for people, and the various initiatives like asset and so on, which is towards the welfare of seafarers. But I would, listening to you speak, I would, on behalf of the Nautical Institute and also on behalf of Anglo-Eastern, would like to thank all the families of seafarers, who have been very supportive of the seafarers, especially with the extended contract. So all those families who are on this event, all those families of seafarers, a big thank you to all of you for the support that you have extended to all the seafarers, your family members on board. Thank you, Mr. Biswas. Everybody knows about how technology is catching up with shipping. Oh, that reminds me, while Mr. Biswas is speaking, and we have spoken about the contribution of DG Shipping, I saw Captain Daniel Joseph joining on this event. Welcome to Captain Daniel Joseph. The man worked hard in the DG Shipping to help the cause of seafarers sign on, sign off. Welcome to you, sir. So as I mentioned, everybody knows about how technology is catching up with shipping today. And every day when we wake up, there is something new. We hear about Python, we hear about AI and robotics and so on. And when we talk about technology, we cannot forget ARI and the contribution of ARI, especially with regard to technology and simulations in India. Probably an initiative of making India that we are proud of. So we have with us Mrs. Naomi Rivari, who is the founder or director of ARI. And as I mentioned at the beginning, the theme has really been connect and disconnect. So it is nice to connect with Mrs. Naomi Rivari once again. She is also a member of the Nautical Institute. And as the Captain Abhijit mentioned, she's also a psychologist who has been speaking at various platforms about the human factor. So I'm sure she would have right away understood when the previous two speakers spoke about the kind of stress that the seafarers have been going through on board the ship, because she's been in and out of this for the last many years. So let me invite Mrs. Naomi Rivari to speak us and felicitate Anglo-Eastern on this event. Over to you.
Good day, everybody, and thank you, Vinod. Firstly, I would like to thank the Nautical Institute for inviting me to be a part of this felicitation function. And I would like to congratulate them for this series of award-winning certificates of appreciation that are focused on the very real and current issues involved with our seafarers today. Being such a burning concern for the industry, ensuring that the topic is brought to the forefront is a wonderful initiative by NA, so congratulations to you. It's been so heartening to hear the update from Captain Niraj Nanda and Captain Vinay Singh, and also the experiences of Captain Burve and Mr. Biswas, and to learn firsthand of the great work and support that has been going on. The numbers of sign-ons, sign-offs are staggering, and it is hard to imagine all the hours of work and toil which has gone into every single movement. The coordination, follow-up, and attention to detail required to be working under such tight timelines has required an amazing level of dedication. And it gives me particular pleasure to be a part of this event, as both ARI and personally the Rivari family have enjoyed a long and synergetic relationship with Anglo-Eastern for many years. It comes as no surprise that Anglo-Eastern has been at the forefront of these measures, spearheading the movement for ensuring that their seafarers are able to sign on and off, regardless of the cost and the effort required. And the fact that now they are, in such a relatively short period of time, practically back to their regular cycles of seafarer movements, well, I think that's a creditable and tremendous achievement for the whole Anglo-Eastern team. It is these decisive early actions, which we heard from Captain Vinay, and a commitment to go beyond the norm and to pull out all the stops to support their personnel, that has characterized their approach to ship management, not just in these trying times, but always. That comes from our personal experience over the years, and there have been countless examples that I could recite where Anglo-Eastern has been progressive and ahead of the game. One fond memory that has been recounted to me on many occasions by my in-laws, Captain SSS Rivari and Mrs. Rivari Senior, is regarding the discussions held with Pradeep prior to the opening of the Anglo-Eastern Training Center in Mumbai. Pradeep had a clear vision to ensure that Anglo-Eastern seafarers were trained to the highest standards. And at that time, he recognized the impact of the human element in shipping. Programs which focused on both safety and HRD were discussed with my in-laws, and the conceptualization of the training center and those initial courses took place. And this was at a time when soft skills training was largely ignored across the industry. Another example was in terms of simulation. As you mentioned, some of the earliest simulation products of ARI were installed at Anglo's Mumbai Training Center. And since then, we've worked together with the company to ensure that their simulation technology is the best of breed. The company, we have seen, just works tirelessly to push the boundaries in every field, whether it is the use of simulators, digital systems, and other areas of innovation. So these are just a few personal examples from our association, and I'm sure that anyone who is connected with the company will also agree that they are leaders and consistently set benchmarks for quality. Any ship owner or manager knows that people are their greatest asset, and their safety, care, and well-being is a critical factor for smooth functioning. And we've heard about that a lot this afternoon. The difference between having this knowledge, though, and taking action is what determines success. And there's never been a shortage of ideas at Anglo-Eastern, but this is coupled with effective implementation. So from the very top management to every team member in all their offices and to the seafarers on board, one always senses that there is a pride and confidence in knowing that the company will be there to support them. And that is what really makes a difference. And I think that has been clearly explained this afternoon. This unprecedented period of COVID has no doubt brought uncertainty, frustration, disappointment, and at times tragedy. But we have also witnessed grit and determination, hours of hard work and effort, and a will to overcome whatever obstacles are placed in the way. The past few months have been exceptional, and the response from Anglo-Eastern has been par excellence. I congratulate Captain Nanda, Captain Vinay Singh, Mr. Maneesh Pradhan, and the whole Anglo-Eastern team for leading the way, and acknowledge the fantastic work done by the crewing team and the seafarers on board and everyone else involved. This certificate of appreciation is really well deserved, and we hope that this will motivate them and continue to encourage them to work with the same dedication, as the road ahead still has its ups and downs. Keep it up, and really well done.
Thank you, Mrs. Naomi Rawari. We wish ARI all the very best, especially with regard to simulations, as everybody knows how technology is going to intrude into shipping in the future. Thank you so much. And we welcome you back to the Nautical Institute. You have been contributing with your write-ups in our publications. So I'm sure Gillian would be interested to have you and your write-ups at the Nautical Institute.
Sure, be a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I'm too small a person, or rather the next person in our lineup is too big a person for me to introduce. But I would probably be short of words, but I would like to use 2 words to introduce the next speaker, especially those who have been with the training institutes know Mr. Ashish Wankhede, and just to give an impact of his work when he was the DDG training, I would say he was a terror at DG Shipping. Just because if I use any other word, it wouldn't probably impact the kind of work that he had done at DG Shipping. No matter what people criticize about Mr. Ashish Wankhede and the way he was or he is, I would say those close to those network would know where training in India was at a few years back and where training is today. And that is a lot of contribution and day and night work by Mr. Ashish Wankhede himself, leading from the front. So it is so nice to have you, sir, with us. And since I did mention Captain Vinay Singh as one of the Hollywood heroes. Let me tell you the feelings of the Indian industry. Let me echo the feelings of the Indian industry. They say that you're no short than a Bollywood hero. So on that lighter note, I invite Mr. Ashish Wankade to offer his felicitations. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Vinod. I think those were very, very encouraging and motivating words for me. And I'm not sure whether I deserved or not. Anyway, first of all, let me wish on this great day, we should learn from the greatest teacher, the Mother Nature. I have been listening to all the speakers and the representatives from Anglo-Eastern. I have a slightly different opinion. If you may please allow me to speak my mind out. So first of all, I would like to tell you that just few months back, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Please go.
Just a few months back, I happened to come across an individual who told me that the humans, the people or the lives, they are divided into three sections. The ones who have some affinity towards the air, one having affinity towards the earth, the land, and the third one having affinity towards the water. And I was, I found it very, very interesting fact that how some people are more interested in going towards flying, some are more motivated and inspired to go for, the maritime industry. And then we have people on the land. Later on, when I was trying to analyze this and really trying to think about it, I came across some basic elements of astrology. I'm sorry, Ms. Rivari, maybe I'm getting into your field of psychology and all this. But I'm just trying to put my thoughts because I was not too much involved into this sign on, sign off. The idea was when I was going through the basic elements of astrology, there were four elements like the air, water, earth, and then you have one more, the fire. And I was wondering whether we have that fourth type of people or living people, and what do they do? What are they so inclined to? What they want to do? Anyways, that is not my subject, and I leave it to the experts. And maybe some of you who are aware of that may enlighten me someday. Later on, I came across something called as the humans or the life in general is made of 5 basic elements, they say. That is the, air, water, you have fire, you have earth, and the fifth one is called Akash, or, something like infinitively, it's a zero thing, it's a space. I really don't know the basic concepts of that, but I was just wondering that how important it is for us, the maritime community, to understand that people who are employed or associated with the maritime industry, they must have some kind of affinity and liking towards the waters. What happens is, if you know the entire life, when you say anything that is living has basically come out from the seas. I still remember when I was a junior engineer on a vessel and I was so fascinated by looking at the seas and looking at the big waves and all. One of my colleagues, he told me that, Janab, ये जो आपको दृश्य देखने को मिलता है, ये सब जो आपको देखने को मिलता है, लोगों को करोड़ों खर्चा करने के बाद भी नहीं मिलता. It was so beautiful. The sea is so beautiful. The waters, waves, everything about the nature. My God. And on top of that, when you're on a ship all the fishes here and there, and you see all kind of, you are totally into, it's a heaven when you're on board. But over a period of time, and I can tell you one thing, that when I used to sign on or something, there was never a date called on this date I will sign off, or on this, in this month I will sign off, or I will attend this wedding or something. And I always used to feel that, seafaring is something, or a seafarer is something like, some kind of a very, very passionate man, passionate about the ship, passionate about the sea, and, very much, wants to devote his life to that. And trust me, while on board, nothing beyond the sea or the ship existed for me. I'm not saying that I was from a different, I belong to a different species, but that is how the picture of a seafarer was always with me, like somebody who is, dedicated, devoted, and, kind of a wild man, or truly passionate with what he is doing. There's nothing beyond that. Over a period of time, I see that things have changed a lot. There has been a limitation on, the number of months. Then people are also talking about, like marking their records. Okay, I'm there only for 2 months or 3 months. The actual passion for working on ship is slowly dying down. When people come and meet me, especially the youngsters, they often say that, we are planning to join Merchant Navy because we find it very, very much adventurous. But it is very shocking to see that any kind of adventure, whenever it comes up, I mean, I don't know why our seafarers are running away from all such responsibilities. I'm sorry, I'm not talking anything against the seafarers at this moment. And I'm just trying to tell you my experiences, what I see. The next thing was like when you talk about the COVID-19 pandemic situation, I understand that there was a panic situation everywhere. But I can tell you, honestly, if you think, I think the ship was the safest place to be on. Please, I mean, let's be very, very honest. Even if you have to go out to buy bread or some eggs, it was so scary that people were walking at least 2 meters away. People know anybody, if you see in the lift, nobody was using the lift. I've seen all those things, and through that experience, I'm telling you that I find the ship was the, you can say, the safest place for anybody. I can, yes, understand that the seafarers might be thinking about their own family or whatever, but that was there everywhere. Everyone was going through that. Coming back to this, the seafarers, obviously, sign on, sign off had been one of the most critical subjects, and somehow we do not have anything called as disaster manager, proper disaster management in place. And especially like a country in India, when too many different ministries and different organizations are involved for every small thing, it was a very, very, very difficult task for the directorate to arrange and to ensure that everyone is, benefited, or there is some kind of crew change. During my time as a DDG training, I don't know, but somehow we were very lucky that we we closed the institute on 16th March itself. That was prior to that. Otherwise, I can tell you that at least 10 to 15,000 seafarer candidates would have got stranded in different institutes, and it would have been a very, very difficult task to send them home. When you are talking about the international community or international work, like the sign-on, sign-off, or various foreign ports and everything, it was a very, very difficult task. And I really congratulate the directorate and the team, and Captain Daniel is also here, who was working day in and day out to ensure that everything is organized and, we were very, very lucky that, all the shipping fraternity, including the companies, Anglo-Eastern and many other companies also, they also cooperated, and we could come out with some good SOPs, and all this thing was very nicely done. I really sincerely feel that, the seafarers, the attitude of the seafarers should be a little bit, we need a change in this. A small, a small delay, I would say 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, should not be so frustrating for a courageous man and a strong man that I've seen a seafarer to get so demotivated, depressed. I mean, it was really very, uh, demotivating to see so many videos and comments on the Twitters and Facebook and everywhere. People were talking about how the seafarers, how they are suffering. I think this was unnecessary. There was a lot of hue and cry and propaganda made by the media and few people of the industry, which probably made or escalated the problem and the fear. It has increased the fear in the minds of the seafarer. Like I was listening to the captain and the chief engineer, and I can feel their emotion that when you're out at the sea, when you're not aware about what is happening, obviously the fear of their family members and everything will really disturb them mentally. But my dear brothers and sisters, if you call yourself a seafarer, you should live like that. I'm not saying that you should not be a person with attachments. It's a very good emotion. We should all have attachments, but going to the ship, you must leave all that aside. I'm sorry to say that, but you still have very good the communications, everything has improved. There are so many positive things that are going up, and things are there, but a seafarer should be a seafarer. I'm very happy that Anglo-Eastern has gone way beyond to ensure that they are meeting the guidelines and ensuring that the safety and everything was maintained, and still they could sign off the people, the crew. It was a very, very a good thing that has happened to our seafarers. And worldwide, I think Indian seafarers were applauded. I was listening to Mr. Vinay Singh and the chief engineer also. They also said that the general motivation of the Anglo-Eastern seafarers, it was very well maintained, and they did not lose their temper. They did not, that is itself a very big thing, because everywhere people were talking only about suicide, losing temper, losing patience. And we could see in normal offices also, staying in a lockdown period and then thinking about, some suicidal tendencies and then losing tempers. Anyway, all said and done, though we did not have anything in the disaster management, or I know Anglo-Eastern as a company with very good ISM systems, and they are so good at their documentation and everything. And ISM in general is something called, for the risk assessment and safety of ships. Unfortunately, there should be something like this, risk assessment and all this for the crewing and manning companies also. And with the Nautical Institute being so closely associated with Anglo-Eastern, I think you should, Vinod, definitely try to put up some paper to IMO, like how these things should be addressed in future, so that, we don't face any kind of, unheard situation like this. But anyway, I won't take much time. When you have any procedures or something not documented for any kind of emergencies, and then you come out with some novel ideas as a true leader, and there I see Anglo-Eastern, Mr. Maneesh Pradhan and his team, they came out with something great, which was not as per the procedures, but to help the seafarers for sign on and sign off. I truly appreciate that, sir. And really congratulations to the entire Anglo-Eastern team. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It was nice to know the other side the story from a different perspective. But let me also tell you that it is very motivating to hear you speak, to the seafarers. But let me tell you that we do not have too many ashes wanke days, and to be courageous. You're one courageous person that the industry has seen. Thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful words and motivation. Thank you. Usman, I'm just going to share my screen. Just let me know.
Yeah.
We come to the main event. Can you see the screen?
Yes, I can see the screen, yeah.
Okay, so this is what we are all here for today, appreciating the efforts or the extra step, extra mile that Anglo-Eastern has gone towards the welfare of seafarers, sign on, sign off. So this is what we are here for. Certificate of appreciation to Mr. Maneesh Pradhan, who is the Managing Director of Anglo-Eastern India, and as well as to team AESM, both sailing as well as shore staff. I would request our President, Ms. Jillian, to award the Certificate of Appreciation to Mr. Maneesh Pradhan and Team AESM.
Thank you very much. It really is an honor to provide and to award this Certificate of Appreciation. We have heard so much about why it is important that we provide this, and the work of what Team AESM has done over the past few months. The comments on both the Facebook and also in the chat here on the Zoom have all been very supportive and very thoughtful about the efforts that have been taken. And the fact is that there is still more work to be done, but we're well on our way. So in grateful recognition of all of the hard work, all of the commitment, the personal sacrifice, the long hours, and all of the effort that went into serving the needs of your fellow citizens around the world, the seafarers, we are very pleased from the Nautical Institute to provide you with this Certificate of Appreciation.
Thank you, Ms. Jillian. I request our past President, Captain Krishnamurthy, to speak a few words of appreciation.
Okay, it's been a wonderful webinar. First of all, my compliments to the team at India Southwest branch of the Nautical Institute for organizing this. You're a source of inspiration for your the older branch here at Chennai. So I think YD Mishra is here and we're taking notes. I hope we can work together to move these kind of events in the future. A lovely range of thoughts. I think very positive words of wisdom that have emanated. This sense of duty of care, something I learned from my own boss, is to, when you care, suddenly everything falls into place. Safety, happiness, efficiency, all elements fall into place. It begins with caring for your fellow human beings, both your colleagues in the office as well as those out at sea. And what we have seen is a wonderful exhibition of that spirit that has come through. So what can I say? Thank you. And we at the Nautical Institute, in our time-honored tradition, would love to celebrate that spirit of adventure that Mr. Ashish Wankhede referred to, the spirit of stoicism, and of course, the spirit of caring for one another. All of that have come together in a wonderful exposition. So thank you for a fabulous event, and nothing more to say.
Thank you, Captain Krish. Hajra sir, would you 2 minutes, 2 words of your appreciation?
Yes, of course. First and foremost, as I've been saying, on behalf of the entire Indian Maritime Fraternity, once again, grateful thanks to the Nautical Institute for these wonderful webinars. As you have yourself said, it's a really nice platform to connect and reconnect. With Anglo-Eastern, of course, I have had a long association, particularly with Vinay. I'm so happy that Vinay is here. He's a very, very old friend. We have worked together. We have been on the seminars, number of them together. So it's very happy to reconnect with him. He is now away, of course, in Hong Kong. And I must say that, every year it was a given that when the National Maritime Day, on the National Maritime Day event, when NMDC will declare the awards as far as the foreign employer of Indian seafarers, not only in terms of numbers, but in terms of quality, in terms of training, and above all, in terms of compassion, it will always go to Anglo-Eastern. That was almost a given for all of us. So definitely, it has been a very, very proud association for me with Anglo-Eastern for decades. And once again, I must honestly admit that while I have met Maneesh a couple of times, but I don't know him that well. So I wish him and his team all the very best in India. And I wish the Anglo-Eastern team globally all the very best. Whatever Captain Rishit may say, after all, we consider the seafarers as the true heroes, whether they like the designation of heroes or not, because what they have done for the mankind, particularly, they have been doing all along, but that's not really recognized, unfortunately. But what they have done during this pandemic is absolutely phenomenal. I must say that in my opinion, that the world has gone on quite smoothly is because of the shipping and particularly the seafarers' contribution. Once again, thank you, seafarers. Once again, thank you all the trainers, particularly today being the Teachers' Day. Teachers are the people who really make the foundation for the country because they shape the minds of the children who are the future of this country and for the whole world. So once again, on this happy Teachers' Day, I wish all the teachers, all the trainers, all the very best. I wish the maritime industry and the seafarers very best. God bless. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Usman, can you see my mailbox?
Yes, we can see. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to make Mrs. Rivari a little happy using technology. We don't want to hold the certificate with us, so I'm just shooting the certificate to Mr. Maneesh Pradhan and his office. Okay, so I think the certificate is with Mr. Maneesh Pradhan. I invite Mr. Maneesh Pradhan, Managing Director, Anglo-Eastern, to take us through, all this efforts that you and your team had taken for the welfare of seafarers. Over to you.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Good evening, Ms. Julian Jackson, and good afternoon to Captain Joseph, Captain Krishnamurthy, Captain Alapat, Mr. Wankade, Mrs. Rivari, Captain Balakrishnan, Captain Naveen, all my other co-speakers, and to everybody tuned into this fabulous platform. Very honored and thanks to the Nautical Institute for having recognized and appreciated the efforts made by all of us at Anglo-Eastern for facilitating crew changes in the present times of the pandemic. While the whole world is reeling under the pandemic, we at Anglo-Eastern have just experienced one of the toughest times of our professional lives, but definitely amongst the most satisfying ones, simply because we managed to reunite so many of the seafarers with their families, alongside providing employment to literally thousands of seafarers. I would just like to repeat a few numbers because we're really, really proud of it. So about 150 vessels were diverted for crew changes, only for crew changes, out of which 68 vessels were diverted to Kochi alone. I owe a big thank you to Captain Alapat, who's, I believe he's on this webinar. Thank you, sir. You've been a boon, you've been a pillar of support to us. These 68 vessels were off-hired and diverted, and thanks to you, everything went off smoothly despite the monsoons around us. Over 200 chartered flights were used to ferry seafarers to and from the ships. Now, of course, the bubble flights have operated, but initially, and I think if I recall correctly, it was the 3rd of June, when the first chartered flight was allowed by DG Shipping. And then on, it's been a big, big journey. Crew changes were executed across 278 different ports across the world. That's what was the expanse of the operation. I mean, starting from the far west to the far east, we've possibly done crew changes in every country and seaport possible. We have completed the first crew change post-lockdown on 548 ships, and we have just not less than 10 to go. In fact, many of the vessels, we have now actually done the second crew change, and it's thanks to the team that everybody has gone on and explained how we did it. 6,542 Indian seafarers were brought back home safely and reunited with their families. And 6,594 Indian seafarers were provided employment over the past 3 months. This makes a total of 13,136 crew movements of Indian seafarers alone from the time of the lockdown till date. The above numbers are testimony to the fact that what remains foremost in our mission is to care for our people. All my seniors and colleagues have spoken about it, but I am just reiterating the same sentiment. Many may be wondering as to why I have been so specific with the numbers, but the simple reason is that for us at Anglo-Eastern, each and every person is important. And that's why the numbers have been so specific. As mentioned, we were amongst the last ones to stop crew changes and amongst the first ones to restart as soon as it was possible to do so. No other company can be proud of such figures, which each Angloite, as Himadri said, and that's what we like to fondly call ourselves, each Angloite is proud today. Being the largest employer of Indian seafarers, this is what was expected from us. So it's not that we've kind of done something out of the blue. This was expected. It was our duty to bring back our people. And we are very thankful to a lot of people who helped us achieve this. I would like to use this opportunity and platform to list and thank a few of them. And my apologies if I do miss out naming a few. But to begin the list, my gratitude to the Government of India, specifically to the Ministries of Shipping, Home, External Affairs, and Civil Aviation. These ministries were at the core of providing us all the necessary permissions and facilitating the movement of seafarers. I could have never imagined that we would have a platform where one click of the mouse and we were connected to these ministries, and I never knew it was so easy and for us to reach that. A big, big thank you to DG Shipping, Shri Amitabh Kumar, and all at the Directorate. Huge initiatives were taken by them to set the ball rolling. First, the crew changes were allowed in Indian ports. Anglo-Eastern did over 2,500 crew movements at Indian ports itself. After that came the permission to use chartered flights. As Indians, we moved far more people than any other country as far as seafarers were concerned. This not only allowed for the regular crew changes, but also gave us opportunities and jobs to Indian seafarers. A lot of the other nationalities couldn't send out their seafarers to relieve their own nationals. So luckily, those jobs came to Indians, which is something that was good, and thanks to DG Shipping. The SOPs made by DG Shipping have been hailed as one of the best in the world, as the success rate in beating the coronavirus has been nearly 100%. Never experienced such a round-the-clock support from a government department ever in my life. A special mention of DDG Shri Daniel Joseph for his unconditional pillar-like support. He was there. I've never seen a man reply faster on a WhatsApp message. He is just too good. So thank you, sir. Much obliged to our clients and ship owners. They have been very benevolent to recognize the importance of relieving the staff who were overdue and who had overstretched on their tour of duty. Owners have spent actually almost 4 times over the budgeted costs, despite the depressed markets. But all this was done to only relieve our people, who are now rightly recognized as key workers. Every effort was made by them, including diverting vessels and allowing large batches of crew changes to be done, something which Rishit has already spoken about. Credit to the unions, the Maritime Union of India and NUSI. They have provided us immense support through these difficult times, and as they have always been supportive. Gratefulness to MASA, FOSMA, and VRM. They have been instrumental in arranging for the chartered flights under very, very difficult circumstances. This was a very important link which they stitched. That is what enabled the crew changes. Would like to humbly thank the senior management of Anglo-Eastern Hong Kong. Anglo-Eastern is a privately owned, family-oriented business, which is reflected in the way we value our seafarers, whom we view and treat as extended family members. You have had the testimony of two of them, and I think many would share this same sentiment. The senior management, under the guidance of our chairman, Mr. Pierre Kramers, and our CEO, Captain Bjorn Højgaard, have been extremely supportive to provide us all that was needed to function during these times. Their vision and goal set for us was to get our dear seafaring colleagues back home despite all adversities. The omnipresent guidance from our senior management, especially by our Group MD, Captain Vinay Singh, is what helped us immensely. Our technical operations, quality and training departments have been extending huge help all through these tough times. To sum it up, it has been our trademark, and our effort has been a one-team effort. This is something that we believe in. Salutations to my team here in India. My team of 300 strong warriors have worked round the clock to make these crew changes happen. The uncertainties and variables were far too many, and the battle with an unknown enemy called COVID was fought with distinction. The team here has surpassed all expectations. This appreciation from the Nautical Institute is actually due to each one of them, and I consider myself only lucky to be representing and working alongside such a professional group of people. And above all, admiration and deep gratitude to our dear seafarers and their families who believed in us and held on in extremely difficult circumstances. Quite a few experienced personal tragedies, fatigue-related issues, and so on, which my dear colleagues have already spoken about. But the beauty was that not one vessel was interrupted, the supply chain that it was designed and deputed for. Probably the only job where a person gets restricted in a relatively small workplace away from his or her near and dear ones for months, and is expected to give 100% result each day. Each and every product that you see on the shelf of a store or use at home has been carried in some form on a ship. And these braveheart seafarers of ours ensured that the world did not get deprived of any such essential. My vocabulary limits me from expressing my heartfelt gratitude to each and every seafarer and their families, especially of the Anglo-Eastern group. But all I can say is that we can never do without you. To end, can only hope and pray that this pandemic ends soonest and that we come back to the normal living. Personally, I can't wait to get back to normal as compared to what the world now calls new normal. We all are waiting with bated breath to get back to what we used to do. Once again, would like to thank the Nautical Institute for recognizing our efforts, and we are extremely grateful for the same. Wishing everybody a good day of what's left and a great weekend ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. It is your humbleness when you said it is our duty to get seafarers back home. It just reflects once again the commitment of Anglo-Eastern towards the seafarers sailing with you. As you would yourself agree, if you just look at the scale of logistics involved during this pandemic to sign on or sign off a seafarer with the amount of restrictions at various levels, it is definitely a massive operation, and which requires probably administrative management skills as well as sound technical knowledge. And I believe Anglo-Eastern has fortunate to have you as a leader leading from the front over the last few months during the pandemic, doing these operations. So thank you once again, sir. You and your team at Anglo-Eastern thoroughly deserve the certificate of appreciation from the Nautical Institute. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
As we come to the end of this event today, I did mention about the support that personally I have been getting, as well as our branch has been getting from our president seated at Canberra, Australia. But I should also mention the kind of support that I have been getting locally from the chairman of our Nautical Institute, India Southwest branch, Captain Tom Joseph. He has been very supportive and helped me come this far, and I'm sure he will support me in the future events as well. So I invite Captain Tom Joseph, Chairman, Nautical Institute Southwest Branch, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Captain Vinod. Distinguished speakers and guests, fellow members of Nautical Institute, colleagues and Seafarer friends, all viewers, both online as well as offline. A very good day. Come September, and it is the month in which IMO and most other nations celebrate the Maritime Day, 24th September being the date set by IMO this year. With the grave situation that has dawned on us and the globe entirely due to the COVID-19 pandemic, it is more significant this year. The pandemic has affected the global shipping severely, with the marine crew getting stuck wherever they were, on board or at home, for unduly very long time. Those on board were totally disturbed, not only for not getting signed off in time, but also due to the worries of near and dear back home. Some have even gone mentally wrecked, whereas others could not concentrate on their jobs, thus safety of the vessel and crew being compromised. Those at home getting stuck almost a year or more without work and not able to earn was also a very critical issue. International visas and flights were entirely stopped, thus preventing crew changes. It was at this juncture that few large companies took initiative of diverting their ships passing the Indian peninsula to call on Indian ports and change their Indian crew. Subsequently, chartered flights were allowed to carry out their crew change, and some of the large companies managed crew change this way. In such a scenario, we at India Southwest branch of Nautical Institute, in consultation with Nautical Institute London, decided to appreciate some of the agencies and few major companies who are distinguished in facilitating the crew changes judiciously. The Cochin Port Trust under Dr. Beena IAS Chairperson and Captain Joseph Alapat, FNI Deputy Conservator, Cochin Port, were the first to receive such a token of appreciation, followed by PHO Cochin, Synergy, MSC, Shipping Corporation of India, Mr. Amitabh Kumar, IRS DG Shipping, and Dr. Malini Shankar, IAS, former DG Shipping, Cosma and Masa, and now Anglo-Eastern. We also awarded few certificates of appreciation to ships which called on Cochin Port for crew change. Whereas our intention is not to rank the companies and agencies in their order of merit, which I am sure there is no specific yardstick to measure it, but we did it at random as a token, whoever were noticed by us. Anglo-Eastern being my last company I sailed with, I take special privilege of congratulating Team AESM for being distinguished today. Setting standard is the principle of guiding Anglo-Eastern. Yes, they are in the forefront of setting the standards. I am sure Anglo-Eastern would also be setting a standard by enlisting maximum of their officers as members of the Nautical Institute. More than just a membership of a professional body, it enables one in their career progression, gets distinguished, and above all, it offers an insurance cover against criminalization of seafarers. Founded in 1974, Anglo-Eastern Ship Management today has about 870 vessels under their management and probably over 30,000 seafarers. I hope my numbers are correct. Manning these vessels, all managed by a professional team from 25 centers across the globe. Certainly, there's a very strong presence of Indian seafarers and managers in the company. We at the Nautical Institute are extremely thankful to the team AESM and particularly Mr. Maneesh Pradhan, Managing Director AESM India, for accepting the certificate of appreciation and speaking to us about the challenges he faced to carry out the crew changes. A big thank you, sir. Captain Vinay Singh, Group MD of AESM Hong Kong, I would say he is synonymous to Anglo-Eastern itself, at least for the Indian crew. He has taken time off from his busy schedule and briefed us today about the activities of AESM. On behalf of Nautical Institute and on my personal behalf, thank you, Captain Vinay Singh. Ms. Gillian Carson, FNI, is President of Nautical Institute London, but she is attending this meeting from Canberra, Australia. Whereas this virtual meeting was planned this time and every time in such a way, Ms. Gillian has to delay her dinner and go off the routine. Thank you, Ms. Gillian, for gracing this virtual meeting and speaking to us. On behalf of NA India Southwest, I would like to thank Captain Sivaraman Krishnamurthy, FNI, former President of Nautical Institute London, for being here with us today to elaborate on the activities of Nautical Institute. Captain Neeraj Nanda, Director AESM, was kind enough to introduce to all of us the activities of Anglo-Eastern. Thank you, Captain Neeraj Nanda. Captain Rishit Bhave, Master, and Mr. Himadri Bishwas, Chief Engineer, the real heroes. They were kind enough to spare valuable time of their vacation to share with us their experiences during the recent sign-off. Whereas Captain Rishit signed off recently from vessel Pixis Alpha, Chief Engineer Himadri Bishwas signed off vessel Rio Grande. On behalf of Nautical Institute, a big thank you to both of you. We at the Nautical Institute are extremely thankful to Mrs. Naomi Ravari, Director of ARI, and Mr. Ashish Vangede, formerly from DG Shipping, for kindly gracing the occasion and offering their felicitations and also advice and guidance. Let me thank our media partners profusely for all their support for spreading these events across the globe. In particular, I would mention Marex Bulletin, Bandarkar Shipping News, CN Coast, Saga Sandesh, and Sailor Today. They deserve to be mentioned apart from other news portals and forums. I would also thank Captain Abhijit Balakrishnan, AFNA, our founder secretary of NS India Southwest, for his welcome speech. It will not be out of place if I say so that NA India Southwest is totally indebted to Captain Vinod Naveen, AFNI, Secretary of NA India Southwest, for conducting these virtual meetings so meticulously. Thank you, Captain Vinod Naveen. Let me also thank our fellow members for their directions and moral support, particularly Captain John Lloyd, CEO, NA London, Captain John Meneses, FNI, past chairman of NA Southwest, Captain Joskuti Thomas, FNI, our founder chairman, Captain Joseph Alapat, FNI, our vice chairman, and Captain Jibin Nair, our treasurer. A big thank you to all viewers, online and offline, particularly the Nautical Institute members and all guests and all seafarers across the globe watching online and offline. A big thank you.
Thank you, Captain Tom Joseph. And I would just like to inform Mr. Maneesh Pradhan that Priyanka from Anglo-Eastern has confirmed that you have received the certificate of appreciation. So that's the way technology is today. Gillian, I promised Gillian that today we would have a an event which would probably let her have a dinner and before that her yoga on time. But I think it's gone for a toss. It's gone over 2 hours. But I think she has appreciated. She has sent a message to me that she has appreciated the kind of the inputs and the experience, and to get to know what the activities that is happening towards the Seafarer sign-on, sign-off. So I think it was worth all this while listening to all of you. Once again, thank you to all the distinguished speakers, guests, all the participants to come on board on this event and joining us. Just before I let go, I don't want to upset Ms. Gillian. She wanted a group photograph with all of you. So please turn on all your cameras, no more protocols. Please, you can unmute, you can make as much noise as you want. Please use the opportunity to compliment the recipients of the award and Team AESM. I leave it to all of you. Please turn on your cameras and the mic.
Captain Navin, Captain Vinod, thank you very much for inviting us. Greetings from Sri Lanka for everyone. Thank you.
This is a time to connect and reconnect, and I am so glad to see Mr. PMK Navyar, electrical officer, on the screen there. He joined foreign shipping so long before we even heard about shipping. He joined Volume in 1968, if I am correct, and I had the pleasure of sailing with him, and it is great to see him again now. Hello, Nabi, nice to see you, and we had a good session today with the fantastic participation, and the Nautical Institute India Southwest is really happy that these webinars are getting noticed, and the seafarers are logging in from all over the world. Many, many congratulations to Team Anglo-Eastern, Vinay and Maneesh, and many others I keep meeting off and on. Thank you all and have a good day.
Thank you very much, Vinod. Very nice show, very nicely done. Julian, thanks a lot. Sorry that you missed your dinner, but we will make up to you when we meet next time. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Captain Vinay Singh. It was a pleasure listening to you and Maneesh Pradhan. Proud to be an Anglo-Easternite and proud to have the recognition.
I'm very happy to see Mrs. Naomi Rivari, whose father-in-law was a good friend of mine when I was working with DE Shipping. Me and him used to spend many evenings together. That's a memory I have about Captain Rivari. Thank you very much for showing your face today. Thank you very much, and happy to meet everybody. So many faces, known faces. Bye.
It's been wonderful to have everybody here. So it's just been a great event as always. Thank you very much, Vinod, for organizing it. And it's wonderful to see many new faces and number of people that we have seen before on many of the other events. So it's great to have you here. And I do believe that Vinod actually has some further information about the upcoming events.
Yes, just let me, have you taken your screenshots, Jillian?
I've done what I can. My screenshots never seem to work out as well. I'm hoping that someone else will be taking some too.
Okay, no issues. I'll share with you. Let me just share the screen since you mentioned that. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so as I mentioned, as Captain Tom Joseph did mention about the events, we started with event number 1. Today we had event number 8. To Mr. Maneesh Pradhan and Team AESM. Our next event, I welcome all of you, is next Saturday, same time, 3:30 p.m. India time. That will be for Mr. Andy Winbo and Team Ice One on 12th of September. And followed up by 2 more events that we have for fleet management, as well as for Captain Rajesh Tandon and Team V-Ships. So I would just like to take a point what Mr. Ashish Wankhede spoke about. Mr. Andy Winbo, as you know, has been with IMO. And we also had Captain Ashok Mahapatra on one of our events who was also with IMO. So, and we have our counterparts, Captain John Lloyd. So yes, there are a couple of things that we hope we will be able to take up with IMO through these people. Thank you, Jillian.
Thank you.
So I think if we are all done, I think we would let go Ms. Gillian for first yoga and then your dinner. And let me tell you, audience, that last time we got delayed, and after that, Gillian shared a picture of a dinner which was Indian curry. So I'm sure your husband will bring you Indian curry today also.
Thank you. Well, I've stopped the live stream on Facebook now, and I have stopped the recording. So it's been a wonderful event as always, and I wish you all a good evening from Australia and a good afternoon for you wherever you are.
Thank you. Thank you, Gillian.
Thank you, Julian.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Enjoy your dinner.
All to have a lovely weekend in Belgium.
Thank you.